Hello and welcome back. Today we are tasting Rioja. So today I'm going to explain to you a little bit about Rioja wines, and I'll also give you a food pairing that will go great with this wine. So this is the Herederos del Marques de Riscal Rioja Riserva 2011. This is a DOC wine and it comes from the Rioja region within Spain. This is made with the Tempranillo grape. The Tempranillo grape is famously used within Rioja to make their wine blends. Now it is also blended with Mazuelo and Graciano, which are traditional grapes that are used as blends within the Rioja wines of Rioja. So it's just about 10% of that Graciano and Mazuelo and then 90% Tempranillo. Now the soil in this region is clay and limestone, and it is a very hilly region. So this comes from Rioja Alavesa. Now Rioja is split up into three regions. So there's Rioja Alta, Rioja Alavesa, and Rioja Baja. This comes from the Rioja Alavesa region, which is very hilly, and it also is sort of on the western side of Rioja. This particular wine is a Riserva. Let's talk a little bit about the aging terms that you might see on a bottle of Rioja wine. So the first one that you might see is crianza. This means that it was aged for the smallest amount that's allowed in Rioja. Crianza means that it's been aged for 2 years, 12 months in the bottle and 12 months in oak. The next term that you might see on a bottle of Rioja is Riserva, like on this one. Riserva means that the wine has been aged for 3 years total, usually 12 months in oak and 2 years in the bottle. The final term you might see on a bottle of Rioja is Gran Reserva. Gran Reserva means that the wine has been aged for 5 years total, 24 months in oak and 36 months in the bottle. So on this particular wine, the term Reserva was used, and that means that it was aged in this particular case for 2 years in oak. So that's above the minimal requirement for the region of Rioja. There's also a term on the back of this bottle. I know that you can't see it, but it's on the back on the bottom here. It says cosecha. And what this means is the crop or harvest. So it says cosecha 2011. So that means that the grapes that were used for this wine were taken from the 2011 harvest. Let's go ahead and assess the wine, and then I'll give you some food pairings. So when I look at this wine, I do see a deep ruby color, and it is even staining the side of my glass. It's very deep in color, almost a garnet. So the aromas for this wine just jump out of the glass. I get a lot of red fruit flavors such as strawberry or cranberry. I also get tobacco, even some vanilla, baking spices, which would confirm that this wine has been aged in oak. And I know for a fact that it has been aged in American oak, so that makes sense that I'm getting those baking spices and vanilla flavors. Now I'll go ahead and taste it. It is just, first of all, I have to say it is a delicious wine. So the fruit is very ripe, both on the aromas of the fruit and also on the palate. Very ripe fruit, definitely strawberry, cranberry, cherry. And there are several non-fruit flavors in this as well. I get vanilla, baking spices such as nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon. There's tobacco, leather. There is a bit of a minerality. As far as the structure goes, it is moderate acid. It is moderate plus tannin and moderate alcohol. Just a really pleasant and delicious wine. It's very easy to drink. It's very, like I could drink this without food. For some red wines, I really need like a food pairing to go with them, but this one on its own would be delicious. Now, when we think about food, usually we think about the structure of a wine when we go to pair it with food. So think about acid and tannin. In this case, the acid is moderate. So I'm not too worried about pairing it with like a food really high in fat or protein. However, that would be nice with it. So I would recommend a cheese, maybe like a Mahone cheese. I would also recommend lamb. I think lamb would be delicious with it. If you grilled it, that would be even better if it was like grilled or smoked. So like a Chiave grilled lamb chops would be delicious with maybe like an herbal sauce or something like that. You could also pair this, I know it sounds kind of weird, but maybe with barbecue, like an American barbecue, even like a barbecue sandwich would be really nice because of the low acid in the wine, and really the red fruit flavors would kind of bring out all of the red tomato flavors of the barbecue, so that would be really delicious as well. And then finally, you could go with sausage, even like a chorizo. I would do like a chorizo and spinach risotto. It would be really delicious with this. The chorizo, the spiciness would bring out the spice in the wine, and the creaminess of the risotto would the acid would kind of cut through that, and that would be delicious as well. So I would definitely recommend trying a Rioja. This one is delicious, and there are lots to choose from the Rioja region of Spain.